Hello, happy Tuesday, and welcome to VA Careers Live, Talk About It Tuesday. My name is Tim Blakeney. I'm a national recruitment consultant for the Veterans Health Administration and your guest host for today's show. First off, thank you for joining us. We know that your time is valuable, and we appreciate that you spend some time with us each week as we talk about VA careers. Since it is the second Tuesday of every month, our regular viewers will know that this is a question and answer day. And even though it's not the second, it's the third, we had to skip a little on Valentine's Day. But, anyways, it is the question and answer day. If you happen to be joining us for the first time, these questions are selected from those audience members like yourselves who have submitted across our social media this past week or even before. Before we begin, I want to remind you that we want you to be part of the conversation. So feel free to leave any comments or questions for us in the comments section below, and our team will do our best to answer your questions and address your comments. With that said, let's get into some of these questions. First question is, I applied for a job at the VA after recently retiring from the Army, but my application was not submitted to the hiring manager because I didn't have my VA disability rating memo in the application because I haven't received it yet. Is it required to be hired at the VA? So first off, let me thank you for your service. I really appreciate that. And then thank you for this question. The short answer is no. You do not have to have a disability rating to apply for a position with the VA. The federal government's hiring process is very different from the private sector's hiring process. When applying for federal jobs, which includes the VA, veterans may be eligible to take advantage of hiring preferences and secure employment more quickly. Veterans' preferences award points to veterans during the application process, providing an advantage in the job placement. Veterans preference only applies when veterans are applying to competitive positions, meaning those positions that are publicly announced to a pool of job seekers. Veterans who are disabled or who have served on active duty in the armed forces during certain time periods or in military campaigns are entitled to preference over non-veterans for federal positions. To be entitled to veterans preference, a veteran must meet the legal eligibility requirements. They can be found at the link, which is going to be provided in the chat by my colleagues. Bottom line, the letter is only needed when you are seeking preference points. I hope that answers your question, and good luck in future applications. The next question is, I'm retiring after 26 years as a Navy Master Chief. I recruited for 2 tours in the Navy and am already working as a recruiter in the civilian sector. I am nearly complete with a Bachelor of Arts in Talent Acquisition and Retention Management degree. I am very interested in helping vets. I am unsure if I should wait to apply for a position until I have completed my VA claim. My EAOS is March 1st. Thank you. Well, first, Master Chief, thank you for your service as well as your question. I see no reason for you to wait to start applying for an opportunity with the VA. I would encourage you to look at the announcement that piques your interest, read it completely, and if you meet the requirements of the position, please apply. You can check out opportunities at vacareers.va.gov as well as usajobs.gov. I want to wish you luck in your search and do hope to see you in the VA in the future. Again, these links will be posted in the chat by my colleagues. Thank you. Next question. What would be a good position for a former surgical technologist with some clerical skills? Again, thank you for your question. It's a little difficult to respond to you, but I'm going to do my best. You say you're a former surgical technologist with some clerical skills. I recommend that you go to vacareers.va.gov and look at all the opportunities available to you. You may have to look at a few different job titles and determine your qualifications before applying. I don't know how long you've been away from surgical technology, but the VA has a need for individuals with that skill set if you still have the skills and interest. If not, I just encourage you to look at positions of interest, read the job description completely, and along with the requirements, and if interested, and if you meet those requirements, to please apply. The next question, are those who completed student clinical rotations in the last year still considered health practitioners in training for those internal postings that specify HPTs? HPT stands for the Health Profession Trainees. Thank you for your question. Unfortunately, this is not an area that I am well versed in. However, in my research to get you an answer, I came across this site, which my colleagues will post in the chat. This link will take you to resources for health professions trainees coming to the VA. This site should answer your questions on if you meet the requirements for the postings. If not, based on your question saying internal posting, it makes me think that you might be a VA employee. And if that's true, I would reach out to your human resources department for some additional assistance if the link doesn't help you. Thank you. Another question was, can a term employee apply for grade positions, or does it have to be the next grade only? Again, I want to thank you for your question. I will tell you that I searched for almost an hour trying to find an answer for you. I found a lot of information on term appointments within the VA, but nothing on applying to grade positions from within a term appointment. Unfortunately, I'm unable to answer this. Based on your question, though, I suspect you may be a term employee with the VA. And if that's the case, the advice I have for you is to contact your human resources office to get an answer to your question. I wish I could have answered it. I searched long and hard, but unfortunately was not successful. But again, I think you're a VA employee, so reach out to your local human resource office and have them get you your answer. The next question is, I'm currently a government employee and a veteran. I have applied for several jobs and the response I get is not qualified. What do I need to do different to get at least a hit? Thanks. So thank you for your service and thank you for your question. Based on that question, it appears you are applying to positions that you may not be qualified for. It's very important to read the entire announcement and pay particular attention to the requirements of the position, education, experience, required documentation, etc. All of those things you're going to need to have in order to qualify. Any one item can cause you to be disqualified if you don't have it or you did not supply it. I would encourage you to continue to apply, but ensure that you provide everything being asked for and ensure that you meet the requirements being asked for. So good luck. How long is the application review, interview, hiring process? I'm a veteran myself, and I applied for a few LVN positions in California, licensed vocational nurse. So thank you for your service, and thank you for the question. When you applied for your licensed vocational nurse positions, each announcement had a closing date. After that close date, Human Resources will be looking at every application and qualifying them for the position applied for. Once this is complete, they're going to forward that application to a hiring manager. Now, the hiring manager and their team will then review all the applications and select however many they need or feel necessary to fill however many positions that they're looking to fill. Once they've gone through that process, interviews, you're going to be contacted for an interview and it'll be set up at a time that's convenient. So then after the interview, if you end up being selected, you're going to be placed into an onboarding process where you're going to be asked to do any number of things, do a physical, fingerprinting, credentialing if you're a licensed provider. The process is lengthy, but I will say the VA is placing a lot of effort and emphasis in trying to onboard future employees in a timelier fashion. I hope this helps you and others understand this process. The wait is certainly worth it. There is no greater calling in life than to serve veterans. Thank you. Next question is, where can my project manager, SCRUM, business analysis experience and skills be applied in assisting our veterans? So thank you for your question. The VA makes use of these skills throughout the system. We have business analysts, we have business managers, and project managers. I would encourage you to go to vacareers.va.gov or usajobs.gov and use the keyword search option to learn where the VA is looking to hire these people with these skills. So go there, keyword project manager, you'll see what positions are available for the VA, and good luck with your search. Had a couple of other general questions come in, and it is any tips on how to find the right VA events and how to get the most out of attending? So thank you for the question. I'm sure a lot of people want to know this. The first thing I would advise you to do is to go to VA Careers website and check out the events page. My colleagues are posting the link in the chat now. This link is going to show you the various locations around the country that are having virtual or in-person career fairs. Another option would be to contact, your local VA and ask them for their Facebook, Twitter, and other social media accounts. Knowing these, you can periodically see if they're having a career fair locally. So those are the two options that I would encourage you to do to find out where events are happening and, go and apply. What's the best way to move forward after rejections? So thank you for this question. I'm just going to say that rejection is never easy, but just know that each and every one of us throughout life have been rejected at one time or another. Personally, I'm going to tell you that I applied for over 30 positions with the VA before I was selected. Now that's something, okay? So I would just say, don't take it personally. Keep things into perspective. Ask for feedback. It can be easier to understand how to get over rejection when you get something useful from the experience. I know that can be hard trying to get that feedback, but again, I'd encourage you to reach out to the points of contacts in the announcement or the hiring manager to see why you were not selected. Next, work with your network. Just continue to work at it. Work at that network. Keep up the search and continue to apply. Lastly, I'm just going to say be persistent. Please be persistent. Persistence gives you vital experience. When you're persistent, you learn that each failure gives you another opportunity to learn. With each failure, you'll become more resilient. You'll also learn how you can overcome any challenges. So that ends the questions that I had. I'm going to go to the live questions and see if we have anything in the chat from the producer. Those are the questions that I have for today, but let's see what they are in the producer's thing. Let's see. Okay, I have one here that says, I'm a certified medical assistant. Is the medical support assistant the title I should be applying for? Yes, that is exactly the position. Again, you could, look at the announcement and you'll see that they're one and the same. So yes, good luck with that. Is there a way to check on the status of an application that has already been processed? I'm not sure that I understand that question, but what I'm going to say is if you should have applied through USA Jobs, and that system gives you updates periodically on the status of your application as to, once you submitted it, you will get something back saying, it was submitted, and once it's reviewed, you'll get something saying that it's been reviewed or you've been referred. So hopefully the USA Jobs platform is providing you with that information. So do you need an MSW to become employed to the crisis responder position? Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that. A master's in social work is needed in some instances, and when you become licensed, we look for licensed social workers. But this particular position that you're referring to, crisis responder, when you read that announcement, it should tell you what the education requirements are, if it's a BSW, an MSW, or to be licensed. So fortunately, I can't answer that, but the announcement certainly will be able to answer that question for you. Next one is, I applied for a VA position in Northport, New York, a health system specialist. I believe I'm very well qualified for it, but never have any luck in landing a government position. Is there anything I can do to increase my chances as a non-vet? So, I mean, put your best foot forward. Read that announcement. Tailor your resume to that announcement. Tell them what you're bringing to the table. Highlight those things, and I actually encourage a cover letter where you can highlight the things that you will bring to the table and why you're the best candidate for the position. That's really all I can say there. And maybe the other thing I continually say is keep applying, be persistent. You heard me talk about persistence. Just keep at it, and eventually it'll come to fruition. Like I said, it took me over 30 times to get where I am today. I have military HR experience and a master's in human resources. What additional outside qualifications would you recommend for applying for an HR role with a VA? Well, again, thank you for your service in the military. There are human resource qualifications that you can get. SHRM. There's a AAPPR certification that you could get. But those I'm going to say they're not really necessary. I think you have the qualifications needed to get into human resources at the moment, and I would just, apply. And, if you have a rating, make sure you fill out the appropriate paperwork, the SF-15, to show them, what you, how many additional points that you could get. But please continue to apply. So, last question, it looks like, is how do I format my resume correctly for government jobs? Is there someone to work with one-on-one? So the government does have their own resume format, and VA for Vets, or maybe even at vacareers.va.gov, you'll find information on the format that is being requested. I hope that helps, but it is. I think even if you Google the federal resume format, you would come up with some good answers. So we have one more question, and I'm specifically seeking a career in remote virtual cardiac rehabilitation, but I'm struggling on the website filters. Any suggestions? So I believe on USA Jobs, you can, there is a filter for remote positions. And I would encourage you to use that filter, and hopefully, if there are any virtual cardiac rehabilitation positions, that's where you would find them. So yeah, hopefully that'll help you. So that's all we have for today. And with that, we hope that this information has helped you in some way. For those of you who have submitted questions, thank you for taking the time to reach out to us and being a part of this broadcast. We really appreciate your interest. If you submitted questions that we didn't get to this week, we want you to know that we will do our best to get to those in the future broadcasts, or we'll reach out and get you an answer in the comments section. Looking ahead, if you have any questions or comments that you would like us to address in future broadcasts, be sure to reach out to us and let us know. Your questions are what make these episodes happen. Finally, if you have additional questions that weren't answered today or need more information, please visit us at www.vacareers.va.gov, or drop a comment on here on LinkedIn or on our social media accounts. Thanks again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next week.